Good morning, students. So, the topic that we would like to discuss today is the Nernst-Heath theorem. That is very common topic because we have already covered this topic in BSc's final semester, I think. Okay, so let's start without any further introduction part. So the Nernst theorem basically depends on some galvanic cell reaction. Scientist Nernst performed some galvanic cell reaction, and from their experimental data, he gave some conclusion, which is basically Nernst theorem. So a study of enthalpy change and entropy change at very low temperature for some galvanic cell reaction revealed an interesting fact. What is the fact? At extremely low temperature, the change of free energy, that is del G, and enthalpy change del H tends to become equal. That means when the temperature range is very low, that means as low as very close to 0 Kelvin temperature. Then limit T tends to 0, then del G becomes del H. Okay. So in Gibbs-Helmholtz equation, we know that del G equal to del H plus T delta S, del H plus T into ddt of del G at constant P. So I can express this in this. So we know that dg equal to vdp minus sdt. Okay. So if I divide dg by dt, putting the condition of at constant P, then this term vdp becomes 0. So dg by dt at constant P equal to minus of s, and for finite change ddt of delta g at constant P equal to minus of delta s. And we know that the Gibbs function g is basically h minus ts. Okay, so finite change, for finite change we can expected this equation as delta g equal to delta h minus t delta s. So in place of minus delta s, if I put ddt of delta g at constant p, then the equation becomes del g equal to del h plus t into ddt of delta g at constant p. So come back to the equation again. So del g equal to del h plus t into ddt of delta g at constant p. So when limit t tends to 0, then what happened, according to the Nernst theorem, he told that del g equal to del h. So this term, both the terms becomes 0. So limit t tends to 0, t into ddt of delta g equal to 0, or as t is not equal to 0 but very close to 0. So we can say that now at 0 Kelvin, mean exactly 0 Kelvin, what happened, these terms are also 0, because if t equal to 0, then the 0 multiplied by anything becomes 0. Okay, so whether ddt of delta g is a finite quantity or a 0 quantity, that doesn't matter. So in 1906, Nernst postulated that for a process in a condensed system means liquid and solid system. Okay, so ddt of delta G will be 0 near absolute 0 of temperature. So Nernst, after that, after calculating these things, also he done some experiment on the condensed system, and finally conclude that ddt of delta G will be 0 at absolute 0 or near absolute 0 of temperature. That means limit t tends to 0, ddt of delta G equal to 0, and at that condition del G equal to definitely del H. Now the variation of del G with temperature might then be graphically represented in both these figures. Okay, it is to be remembered that with lowering of temperature, the magnitude of del G may increase or decrease, but at extremely low temperature del G would be constant. Means here is the change of del G with temperature for these two different cases. In the first case, as we decrease the temperature, means in this direction, okay, from right to left, then del G value decreases, and up to certain limit it decreases and then gives a constant value. Similarly, in the second example, as we decrease the temperature, del G value slightly increases, continuously increases, and up to that certain point it becomes almost constant, gives a constant value. Okay, so Nernst further suggested that not only del G and del H are equal at absolute 0 of temperature, but they approach equality, means how they are approached is not the linear equation. Okay, and not the exponential are much sharp, means much sharp their change, absolute 0, but the approach equality in this temperature range asymptotically, means from infinite, if the temperature becomes infinite, then they also becomes infinite in both these cases. But when you decrease the temperature and finally come to the very close to the 0 value, then there changes, very slightly changes to the constant value, means at very near value, near the value of the 0, their value means del G value becomes almost equal, but they are because the change takes place gradually and then finally becomes equal. This type of changes is called basically asymptotic change. Now the variation of del G and del H may be represented graphically in the figure, which is the next page. Just a minute. So this is the change. Look, if for a particular reaction the del G value decreases with temperature, then definitely delta H value increases for the same reaction with temperature. And for a second reaction, if the del G value increases with decrease of temperature, then definitely for this particular reaction del H value decreases with decrease of temperature. So it leads to the conclusion that at limit t tends to 0, means very close to 0, d dt of del G equal to 0, and hence limit when limit t tends to 0 also, then d dt of del H also equal to 0. Before that he told that at absolute 0 of temperature both del G and del H equal to 0. Now he told that at absolute 0 or near 0 temperature, that means when limit t tends to 0, then the change of del G and del H with temperature also become 0. Okay. So it is easy to see that if del G increases with temperature in a process, del H will diminish, means decreases, and vice versa. So now again I rewrite the equation del G equal to del H plus T d dt of del G at constant pressure. Now I would like to differentiate this equation with respect to temperature. Then what will happen? D dt of del G means this equation gives d dt of del G, and this gives I just manipulate these terms in this side. So minus d dt of del H equal to these are the multiplication of two terms and both are temperature coefficient dependent function. So first I unchange the first function t, then differentiate second function. So it is already a first derivative, so it gives a second derivative. So d2 del G by dt2, and in the second case second function becomes unchanged, differentiation first function gives you 1. So d dt of del G. So as we know, both sides of this equation contain d dt of del G, d dt of del G, so they are cancelled out each other, and the remaining terms are minus d dt of del G equal to t into d2 del G by dt2. The two terms, that means d dt of del H and d2 del G by dt2, eventually have opposite sign, because we look d2 del G by dt2 and d dt of del H have opposite sign. Okay. Since by Nernst postulates del G converges to a limiting value at very low temperature, because we know that Nernst postulated in the theorem that del G value approaches the same, means a constant value asymptotically, and as delta G approaches asymptotically to a constant value, that means its first derivative and second derivative both should have to be a same sign. That means if the second derivative have the positive sign, then definitely its first derivative should have also be a positive sign. So both the terms d dt of del G and d2 del G by dt2 must have the same sign, otherwise it will not converge. Hence d del H by dt and dt by del G must have opposite sign, because if the first derivative also have opposite sign, I mean same sign with this, then this d dt of del G is a positive quantity and d dt of del G gives a negative quantity. That means in a particular reaction, if del G decreases, then definitely del H increases, and vice versa. Okay. That is, del G would increases with temperature if del H diminishes, and vice versa. Hence the two postulates of Nernst for condensed systems are: when limit t tends to 0, then d dt of del G equal to 0, and when limit t tends to 0, d dt of del H also equal to 0. And we know that d dt of del G equal to basically delta S. We just prove here d dt of del G at constant p equal to delta S. So we can say that, as we know, d dt of del G at constant p equal to minus delta S, so limit t tends to 0, delta S equal to 0, and we know that d dt of del H at constant p equal to basically Cp. From the definition of Cp, we know that the heat change or enthalpy change at constant pressure condition is basically the Cp. Okay, molar heat capacity at constant pressure, Cp. So limit t tends to 0, del Cp equal to 0. So these are the two outcomes of the Nernst heat theorem.